you have this special bond that's never gonna kind of go away.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of other shows might talk about, but it's really strong and really true on this one.
They're lying.
Yeah, they're lying. We're telling the truth.
Cobra Kai is coming to an end with Season 6. Ahead of the premiere of the final season, the cast and creators spoke to The Hollywood Reporter all about saying goodbye to the fan-favorite show.
I mean, you guys have been on such a journey with this show. It first premiered on YouTube Red in 2018, and made the transition to Netflix, and then became this huge Netflix hit. When you look back on just your whole journey with the show, what comes to mind for you?
Anytime anyone talks about the YouTube Red days and it going to Netflix, I think back of a conversation I had with Xolo driving to his house, where we were just sitting in the car going, dude, wouldn't that be crazy if it went to Netflix? That'll never happen. Yeah, that's it's
now
Funny
you can choose his face on your Netflix account.
yeah.
I think
That's
Tanner and I
crazy.
had the same conversation at one point, just being like, where do you think it would go? Well, I mean, we could hope, but Netflix? No, don't even get your hopes up. It's crazy. It's thanks to the fans that we get to be here.
There was a little bit of fairy dust sprinkled on this show from the beginning. You know, we pitched to YouTube Red, which would eventually become YouTube Premium, almost as a practice pitch because they were such a new emerging platform that we couldn't really imagine the show we had in our brains being on our laptops. We had Netflix pie in the sky ideas, but it ended up being a blessing because they leaned in fully to our creative and some of our untraditional storytelling to really, create the template for what that show would become.
At the time, even on YouTube, it felt really big. We made 2 seasons, we made 3 seasons with YouTube, and you felt like you were doing something that like a huge amount of people all loved, but in our personal lives, most people didn't know it that well. It was one of those things where online you saw big numbers and you saw a lot of comments, but the two of us are parents, and it wasn't the kind of thing where the other parents at the school all knew what it was. The moment it went on Netflix, everyone knew the show. Not only did every parent who grew up loving The Karate Kid discover this new Netflix show that just showed up that we've been working on for multiple years now, but their children had seen it too. So to see that rise and that sort of just change in our lives was really wonderful.
The Sekai Taikai is the most prestigious karate tournament in modern martial arts history. For over a century, fighters from across the globe have gathered every 2 years to compete for the title of world's best.
The cast also opened up about their friendships off camera and growing up on the show together.
It feels like these are all our friends from middle school and high school, and now we're going to different colleges. But it's pals that'll be at our weddings. Like, these are people that are, if y'all get married, I don't know.
Show's like, none for me,
if y'all get married, I'll be there.
I don't know if Tanner's ever gonna find love.
No, but yeah, it's like we're inseparable now. Like, after you guys start punching each other and kicking and rolling around.
Everyone just growing up with each other. I don't know. Yeah, it's true. It's like you have this special bond that's never gonna kind of go away.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of other shows might talk about, but it's really strong and really true on this one.
They're lying.
Yeah, they're lying. We're telling the truth.
The final season is set to premiere in 3 5-episode parts, with Part 1 debuting July 18th, followed by Part 2 on November 28th, and the finale event coming sometime in 2025.
Why did you decide to split up the final season into these 3 mini-seasons, as you've called them?
Once we realized we had more story to tell than a 10-episode season would give us, we talked with Sony and Netflix about doing more than that. We wanted to bring it in for a landing, but we needed more than 1 season and probably less than 2 seasons. So we ended up at this number, a nice round number of 15. But once we had that number, it ended up being perfect because we write every single season of the show in 2 5-episode story arcs. We always bring things to a head by episode 5. You kind of round out one story and begin telling the aftermath of, what that wrought. So that gave us the ability to kind of think of this in a 3-act structure, using each of those acts to tell a 3-act story within. So you end up with these kind of bombastic, 3 parts of this final season that are all completely different and yet interconnected, that have all the same feels that you'd expect from any other season of Cobra Kai, with rises and falls and cliffhangers and tragedy and explosiveness. And it ended up being, perfect that they agreed that the 3-episode drop fit within, their desires as well.
For more on Cobra Kai, head to THR.com. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Tiffany Taylor.